don't bring me happy. Ooh. Thank you, happy.
To all of our regular viewers, welcome back to A Captain's Log for another week. For those of you who may have been channel surfing in search of more Star Trek content on your television sets and smart TVs, you're in luck. Welcome to the ultimate knowledge Star Trek talk show, free to all mankind.
Ooh, that's a perk. And the only one on broadcast TV. He's Bryan Kreutz and I'm Lili Fox-Lim. And typically, this is where BK, the ambassador to the fans, usually wows us with a unique Star Trek fact or fiction relatively unknown to the average viewer or even Trekker. Star Trek fans are the greatest in the world, and BK and I are the greatest Star Trek duo in the universe hosting this show about, well, the greatest franchise, Star Trek.
Oh, yes, thank you for that great compliment. You know, I didn't know you really felt that way. Or were you just getting paid to say that?
What? No, I mean, of course I got paid. You know, it's called the writers and producers filling my brain up with this commentary catered to complimenting you. But really, BK, I have great respect for you.
Oh, well, thank you, Lili. As do I. The feeling is mutual, Lili.
Oh.
Now.
Bryan and Lili, through decades of effort toward technological advances in the United States on Earth in the 21st century, there has been a breakthrough called a non-lethal pain weapon.
You know, this parallels the beginnings of the invention of a phaser bank on a ship.
Ooh, or a handheld phaser for that matter.
Yeah.
Joanna, tell us more. And tractor beam me.
In 2010, the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department started plans to use a new, non-lethal weapon that shoots an invisible energy beam. The weapon uses extremely short radio waves called millimeter waves to heat the top layer of skin, which causes an intense burning sensation.
Wait just a minute, Joanna. The year 2010 is far in the past for both Star Trek fictionally and our talk show non-fictionally, or a handheld phaser for that matter.
You are correct, human. Your Klingon language prowess is not all worthy of a warrior like this human device from the past, which was developed as part of a once classified military project. It causes searing pain, but no actual physical damage to its human targets. The local law enforcement on Earth used it in one of their jails to help control inmates, particularly in case of fights.
Where are you going with this so BK and I can tractor beam this towards a Star Trek connection, Joanna?
Indeed, it seemed like the perfect weapon of the past, unlike a taser, which has a limited range and can only be used against one person at a time. Now, this was more like a science fiction Star Trek phaser, shooting out a beam that could strike and repel multiple people quickly and from a relatively great distance.
You are onto something, Bryan. A press conference states the technology was there in 2010 for the first invention of phasers, but to begin using a device like this in any kind of clandestine way was not acceptable, and the jails were asked to hold off using it, raising questions from the Federal Communications Commission, which regulates radio frequency devices. Bryan and Lili, can you name the Star Trek series and episode title where the Federation's handheld phase pistols were used first, and then when the newer and more advanced Federation hand phaser was first used?
Basically, I did my Star Trek fandom training to answer far greater challenges, Joanna, even though you did finally stumped me last time that you opened a channel to us, which I'm not bitter about at all. The answer is phase pistols in Star Trek Enterprise Broken Bow. And it first appeared on Star Trek the original series Where No Man Has Gone Before when Captain Kirk fires a phaser rifle.
Cleverly correct, Lili! You purposely missed the handheld laser pistol weapons used in the first Pilot the Cage, of course, by the Federation, because those were phasers,
They were
right?
not phasers. Yes, BK! We like to get technical here on A Captain's Log. Back in a moment with part 2 of our interview with Phil Morris.
A Captain's Log returns in a moment.
Welcome back to A Captain's Log. Actor Phil Morris played Jackie Chiles on Seinfeld, John Jones on the CW series Smallville, and numerous other high-profile roles in Hollywood, TV, and film.
Welcome home, Kal-El.
Let's continue part 2 of our interview with Phil. BK, I believe you have the first question for Phil.
Yes, Lily, I do. Thank you. Phil, in Deep Space Nine, you played the Jem'Hadar named Remata'Klan, who served as the third under Vorta supervisor Kevin in the episode titled Rocks and Shoals. Now, like the Klingon Thopok on Deep Space Nine, both alien warrior species required heavy makeup. Which to you was most difficult to adjust to and where?
Thopok was a walk in the park compared to third Remata'Klan. And you know, with a Klingon, you have basically a forehead piece, teeth, and if you don't have a beard, they usually put a beard on you. I grew a beard pretty easily, so I had a beard, and they gave me a hair, a wig. That's it, you know, and then the suit.
Hear this, Ferengi. Help Gluka, and you live. Fail, and I will kill you myself.
Third Remata'Klan, I had to do a whole head cast. It's a whole thing. It's 4.5, 5 hours. It's crazy. And then the outfit you wear is all leather applique, zipped up, tight. Everything is like sleeve length, you know, full length, and it's leather. Like I said, over a wetsuit. So your pores are suffocating when you put that thing on. In the studio, they're suffocating. So imagine we were out in Sun Valley, California, named because the sun hits it so hard. And we're in a white rock quarry in one of the hottest days in Los Angeles' history at the time.
There's no way out of this canyon, and we have phasers locked on every one of you.
It appears you have a decisive advantage.
To fight a battle under these circumstances would serve no purpose. I'm prepared to offer terms. Hear me out. I know you need more Tetracell White. My doctor can sedate your men and keep them alive until we're rescued. After that, we can put you in medical stasis until we secure a new supply.
The Vorta did not give me the option to surrender.
Keevan's betrayed you. He gave us your entire plan of attack last night.
It was obvious that approaching your position from this canyon was a deliberate tactical error on his part.
You knew?
I suspected. Despite what Kevan may think, the Jem'Hadar are often one step ahead of the Vorta.
You can still stay one step ahead. Surrender.
I have my orders.
Kevan doesn't deserve the unwavering loyalty you're giving him.
He does not have to earn my loyalty, Captain. He has had it from the moment I was conceived. I am a Jem'Hadar. He is a Vorta. It is the order of things.
Do you really want to give up your life for the order of things?
It is not my life to give up, Captain. And it never was.
What did he say?
All the wrong things.
Our death is glory to the Founders.
Dennis Matalone, the stunt coordinator, advised us that during the shoot for Rocks and Shoals, the temperatures went up to 128 degrees Fahrenheit here in Los Angeles. How did you deal with this heat and keep your composure during the scenes for this Deep Space Nine episode?
I was okay. I would just, every break I got, I would take the whole outfit off, hang it up, hang it outside my trailer. It would be soaked inside by the time I put it back on, completely dry. It was crazy. So I was cool. I was cool. And they had a lot of help. They had a lot of attendants with water. Each one of us that was one of the leads, even the ones that were in the background, they had somebody or two people with water. They would give you water, hold an umbrella over your head. You had a van that you could go into. The air conditioning was on in the van. So they did the best that they could to keep us as hydrated and cool as possible. It was just hot. But it lends to the situation. You know what I mean? It's another challenge for you to get over. And so as we're going to war with the Federation and you're sweating and you're angry and you're tired, it lends. It just lends. And as an actor, as an artist, I use it. And I use it to motivate me in the situation so I can be as real as possible as third Remata'Klan. And it was a tragic story. He's a tragic figure. And so in playing that, I played him very simply. I just tried to not do much and just be in the moment and truly trust the words and trust my scene partners. And as I did that, this great calm power came over me. And I think it exhibited itself in the performance.
And a great performance it was, Phil. Dennis Matalone also told us that he ended up getting a heat stroke on that blistering day. Do you remember that? And how do you remember everyone dealing with the flaming temperatures?
Here's the thing. We were all hot. Everybody's suffering. Nobody got out of it. It just was interesting that our stunt coordinator had kind of the worst reaction to the whole thing. Here you think he's the toughest guy on the set. Yeah. And for all intents and purposes, they are very tough guys. But heat is no joke, and it doesn't matter what kind of shape you're in if you're just not hydrated, if you're just not taking care of yourself. And remember, I got a chance to sit in a van and do that. He's got to coordinate stuff and organize things, and he's working at times that we're not. And so people like that, the crew and stuff that are out there all day long, we get to go home at a certain point, and they're breaking things down. It's a lot harder on them, and I think it was a lot harder on him. And he fell out basically, and they had to not revive him, but make sure he was okay.
Okay, so the 9-season-long television series Seinfeld is now a staple of American culture, and of course, many of our production staff, including Lili and I, are quite fond of that series that went on NBC, but several references to Star Trek were even made during its run on NBC. Now, Phil, you had the privilege to play the part of attorney-at-law Jackie Chiles, a very flamboyant man. He was awesome after the series ended. There was an idea for a spin-off series, I understand, featuring your character, but unfortunately it never materialized. What can you tell us about this, and what happened here with the NBC studio decision?
Oh, it's easy. There was no pilot. We didn't make a pilot. There was no pilot made. I had a holding deal with Castle Rock Entertainment, which was the holding company for the Seinfeld IP. Yeah, I thought it was a great idea, and so did they. And they really wanted it to work, and so did Jerry. And Jerry gifted me Andy Robbins and Greg Cabot, who were two of the head writers on Seinfeld show. So what happened was when Michael wanted to do his show, which was not a spinoff, he wanted those two writers. And, he was Michael Richards, and he'd just come off of a 9-year, 10-year run. And so they gave those writers to him, and that essentially scuppered my opportunity at that point. And we have and other people have tried to resurrect that idea, and people still to this day are thinking that Jackie would be a fantastic character for a show, especially the way the society is going these days. And the Seinfeld IP is incredibly hot and very interesting. And I think Jackie's one of the few that can be had. You're not going to do a Jerry show or George or Elaine or Kramer. You're just not. You're not going to do Soup Nazi or Putty. You're just not going to do those guys. You're not going to do Peterman. Jackie's the most viable. So people are always asking me about it, and I think that Jackie's evergreen and could work at any time, and could, as a matter of fact, I'd just done a year of repping the Snyder's of Hanover pretzel pieces. And so Jackie had a bunch of commercials, streaming and network commercials. about these pretzel pieces. And so the public is not tired of him. They still love him. I do tons of cameos, which are these videos that people order as Jackie. And the public would love to see him. Honestly, not me. They want to see him badly.
Yes, your character of Chiles was supposedly based off real-life lawyer Johnny Cochran, who publicly stated he was fond of your character portrayal in Seinfeld. What specific details can you relate to us?
Absolutely. The character of Jackie Chiles was definitely based off of Johnny Cochran. We had just been through a year of the O.J. Simpson trial. So that, you know, and Seinfeld prided itself on being what? Water cooler conversation. So every Thursday night that you saw it, the next day you're over the water cooler at the office going, man, did you see what they did? The pumpernickel, the crazy rye, what? So the call came out to do a Johnny Cochran type of character. It was literally in the breakdowns. So I went to CBS Radford with a bunch of other actors, African-American actors, Michael Dorn, Worf. He was one of the actors who came to read for the character. Ted Lange, who played Isaac on The Love Boat, he came to read. Michael Boatman, who was on Spin City, came to audition, and some other actors came in. And they didn't read. I mean, the guys that did comedy a lot, they didn't read. Michael Dorn and I read, because Michael was not known for comedy, and still probably isn't. And neither was I, really. I was more of a straight man at the time. But a little fun fact was that I had been going to the same barbershop as Johnny Cochran for almost my whole life. You know, I had been seeing him. Oh yeah, seeing him every month or 3 weeks whenever I went in to get my haircut with my dad. And he was a DA at the time. And, you know, I knew that rhythm. I heard that voice. I'd known it. So when I saw it, you know, representing OJ, it was another thing. And then when they said, hey, can you do a type of Johnny Cochran? I'm like, watch this. And yeah, so that's how that came across.
Now, Phil, if you were asked to make a return to Star Trek, would you want to do it? And let me ask you this question. What kind of role would be your ideal part if you're able to pick what you could do? Is there a specific storyline you'd like to tell or be a part of?
Well, what I'd like to do is that. I mean, as we talk about it, I'd love to do a show that connects the dots between the Federation and NASA, and in fact, play a commander that isn't John Kelly, but that is somebody who would have ordered John Kelly to go, which would be really an interesting Easter egg for a lot of people. Because I'm much older than I was then, and I just think it would be really cool if I were the commander who gave the order to John Kelly, who was another young African-American actor, not me, but I was the one giving the order for him to take his shuttle and get caught into that spatial anomaly. And so we could do the show as a limited series where I'm the commander or the brains behind, like a Silas Stone in Doom Patrol, where I'm the brains behind the technology that ends up connecting NASA and creating the Federation with all of the newfound ways to travel and the ways to transport and the ways to use warp technology and phaser technology, and that I'm that kind of mastermind, if you will, also a military leader who just sees that exploring space is the next frontier.
A captain's log returns in a moment.
You know, Lili and I are warping through another tremendous Star Trek interview. We're deep in conversation with a Star Trek actor who's in rare company, appearing in the original Star Trek series, a Star Trek theatrical film, Deep Space Nine, twice, and also appearing in Star Trek Voyager.
Wow.
Phil Morris is with us, right? And also, what else has anyone else done on that type of level in Star Trek, Lili? I challenge you.
Okay, well, Majel Barrett Roddenberry comes to mind for appearing in the same specific series or voicing the computer. And Michael Ansara comes to mind, except Ansara wasn't in a feature film like Phil Morris. So yes, Morris is in rare company with that many different Star Trek appearances, including at least once on the original series.
Yes!
Who can say that? Let's continue our interview with Phil.
Impressive.
So Phil, when you were shooting on the set of Deep Space Nine for the 2 episodes you guest starred in, how much interaction did you have with the main cast members, whether it be with Avery Brooks or Armin Shimmerman or any others? And do you have like a blooper or something similar to share during filming that left a lasting impression with you?
Yeah, no real blooper, but this was a very interesting interaction I had with Avery because I read for Cisco.
You did? Really?
I read for Cisco after I'd finished the new Mission Impossible. And they wanted an African-American actor who had Shakespearean reach, right?
Yeah.
I was too young at the time. I was just young. And I came in a couple times and even they wanted me to do it. And I hadn't dropped a pear yet. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You needed gravitas, of which Avery was in full abundance of. And it was brilliant as the character. I'm not saying I should have done it. I should not have done it. They got the right guy. I'm just setting that up because when I ended up doing this show, what he shared with me was this. He started his career because of my father.
He did? Really?
My dad was his idol.
Oh my God.
And so he and I were like family, like right away. I mean, he had such respect for my dad, such respect for me. I had such respect for him. I had that connection with having read for Cisco, and every time we see each other, it's just beautiful. We spent lots of times at conventions together, and it always revolves around this. Conversations always revolve around my dad and his influence and his reach. And so that to me was probably the most important interaction I've ever had on the set of Star Trek. That and when Bobby Picardo, at the end of a very long night, and remember I'm shooting by myself, all alone, just him and I. It's 2 a.m. We'd finished the episode. There's a tank at Paramount, the water tank, which is where they filmed actually the 10 Commandments, and they filled it up and they did the parting of the Red Sea right there. Well, that is now a parking lot. And so all the cars are parked in that area. It was late. There's only 2 cars parked there. They're side by side, mine and Bob's. And we end up walking to our cars together. And he looks at me and he puts his hands on my shoulders and he says, Philip, you have exhibited every lesson our acting coach always happens, ever shared with us, ever taught us. You were the epitome of the lessons that we learned, and I want to thank you. And it was obviously quite the compliment from your peer, somebody who's got they're watching you. They're watching you. And so there's that. And then to work with Armin and have such a great experience with him on Star Trek, and then work with him on Seinfeld as Stan the caddy.
What's your read, Stan?
You're close. You're on the green. You just have to go for the cup.
What do you mean?
Have her try on the bra, see if it fits.
No. Do it, Jackie. Stan's the man.
Stan? Who the hell is Stan?
He's my caddy.
Right. So that's the one we watched last night.
That's crazy. So here I've worked with him as Quark, threatening him, and I have pictures of me standing over him, leering on it and stuff. And then we go and we do this crazy comedy called Seinfeld. And he and I have been really, really, really good friends and close compatriots ever since that time. And he does not have the best stories about being on Seinfeld, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. In his mind, they didn't treat him very well. And I'm hoping I'm not a part of that. I'm pretty sure I'm not. But that was just ironic that I would meet up again with him later on Seinfeld.
Phil, it was such a great pleasure to get to meet you and have you here with us here on A Captain's Log, the official broadcast TV Star Trek talk show. Thanks for being with us.
Absolutely. I enjoyed getting to hear all of your stories, and I know that all of our viewers also had a memorable time watching as well.
I just want to say I've had a grand time here on The Captain's Log, yeah. And you guys are fantastic. I love the Star Trek fan base and family, and anytime they call, I'm ready to serve.
It would have been nice to have more time to talk with Phil, but unfortunately we have run out of time for this television 2-part episode. Don't forget to join us again next week when we will have another fascinating Star Trek interview guest.
Fascinating.
It is.
And that will most definitely be a show you will not want to miss. But for now, well, Raj, it's time for you to turn off your monitor, get into your cryostasis chamber, and saw some serious logs. Good night.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for joining us. And until next time, from everyone here at A Captain's Log, live long and prosper.
Bring me happy. Ooh. you've manifested yourself into a human I can depend on to bring me happy. My old friend, I'm glad you've manifested yourself into a human I can depend on to bring me happy. My old friend, I'm glad you've manifested yourself into a human I can depend on to bring me happy. My old friend, I'm glad you've manifested yourself into a human I can depend on to bring me happy. My old friend, I'm glad you've manifested yourself into a human I can depend on to bring me happy.